Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. The FIDE World Championship has started off and we got some exciting games, got some interesting results, and I hope you are following the World Championship. If you are not, then there is no value to your life because this is the main thing. Gukesh, 18 years old, 18 years old Gukesh Domaraju is playing against world champion Ding Liren in Singapore. And I mean, this is a history being created, right? In India, it's a big thing. Sorry, man. By the way, guys, there is one thing I wanted to show you. This is my new mouse. If you can see, it's a new LED mouse. Although, to be honest, this mouse is pretty slow as compared to my previous mouse, my old mouse. But I'm managing it somehow. So yeah. Anyways, apart from that, but this World Championship has been going on. It's been crazy. I've been following every games so far. 3 games have been done. Today is the rest day, and also sorry I haven't been recording. I haven't been streaming much because I played 2 or 3 tournaments, continuous tournaments, and I've been very busy with that. And also I'm waiting for my new webcam. By the way, I'm going to get a new webcam, so I mean, this webcam which you are seeing right now is kind of, like these black lines have been dancing around and everything. So for that reason, I've been forced to buy a new webcam. So yeah, it will be hopefully delivered within 2 3 days. But anyways, let's forget about all that. And so today I'm going to be analyzing all the 3 games. I've already sub. I mean, I'm already creating the game summary on the on Instagram. Like there's I've been submitting a game report. I've been mentioning it on the story and everything. And for those who are following my Instagram and knows what I'm analyzing, that's good. For those who are not on Instagram, or even if they are but they don't know, they don't follow me or anything, make sure you do. And also for them, I'm especially making this video. And yeah. Anyways, game one. So game one, Gukesh is playing with the white pieces against Ignorant, who is playing with the black pieces. And Gukesh starts off with e4, and Ding plays e6. The French. Okay, let me shut off the analysis. And at this point, I was like, well, whenever someone plays French against me, I usually play b3, bishops b2, or maybe even b3. Let's say queen f6 is the main line. So b3. So b3, queen f6, and then I play knight c3. That's the main thing what I usually do. But here Gukesh went with the main line d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, and now e5. So it's the advanced variation of the French, and it's like a close position. Ding plays knight d7, and now f4. F4 has been played. The idea is to go knight f3 at some point. You can even play bishop e3. Try to go for some, try to develop your pieces. You can even play bishop d3. Bishop d3 also very good, nice try. These 3 are the moves which you usually play. Ding plays c5, and here interestingly Gukesh played knight ce2. This was a surprise for Ding because I mean, and Gukesh played it like kind of fast because it's all his prep, I believe. And listen, Gukesh in this entire tournament, whenever he's playing his prep opening, it's somehow like a surprise to Ding. It's like Gukesh is trying something innovative, something more of a what you say, the other word I'm thinking of. Or never mind. When I will remember, I will tell. So yeah, novelty. Yeah. So he's playing a novelty every game. So yeah. So he played knight d2, and here Ding plays knight c6, and Gukesh then normally played c3. And here, by the way, look at the time Ding took. Here at this position, when you see this position, normally you would think like, okay, let's maybe play queen b6, and then let's say after knight f3, you can even play bishop e7 to try to short castle, or maybe let's say you can. I mean, you can even play b6 at some point. b6, bishop b7. This is also seem like a fair opening choice. But Ding here took 30 minutes almost. Not 30, but I guess 29, 28 minutes. And he plays a6. a5, sorry. And because here in this position, Ding was surprised by Gukesh's opening choice, and he didn't really expect him to play such new moves, and he didn't really understand what to play further, like what's his plan. So he's like, okay, let's play a5, let's go, let's take some space in the queen side pawns, and yeah, let's see what Gukesh does. Gukesh plays knight f3, he's just normally developing his pieces. Ding plays a4, and now bishop to e3. So basically normal stuff going on. And after bishop e7, now Gukesh is like, okay, Ding here plays bishop e7. His idea is to go short castle, but just as Gukesh sensed that, okay, Ding is now going to do short castle, you know what? I'm going to start off the attack. I'm going to play g4. Now g4, h4, sorry, g4, h4, g5. So a lot of things coming up in against Black's king side, so gotta be very careful. You shouldn't be short castling right now. It's not the right moment. So here Ding plays queen f5, natural move, and now bishop to g2. So basically normally developing his pieces, and maybe at some point you can even play queen c2, maybe try. I don't think long castle would be great because now already there is this a pawn and this needs to be protected this side by the rook. So yeah, Gukesh is mainly trying to go with the castle, short side castle, I believe. And here Ding plays a3. He's like, okay man, I'm going for the kill. I'm going for this, this queen side space. He's taken a lot of space, and now you shouldn't take back, because yeah, I mean, if you want to lose, you can lose. So Mukesh played b3, which is a obvious move. Now if you see, this pawn is slightly a weak pawn, even though it's defended by the e2 knight, but it's very tough to play. Very weak, vulnerable pawn this is. uh, Ding took the pawn, and now Mukesh played a very amazing intermediate move, b4. So he's like defending this pin, like he's blocking away the pin. So Black played queen c7, and now he took with the knight. Here I believe taking with this knight would have also been great because you are opening up the position, but also, I mean, you can take with the bishop as well. So let's say after bishop takes, knight takes, you can take with the queen, and yeah, I mean, if you want to defend the pawn. Tooks with the knight, which is also good. Knight b6, and now finally Gukesh short castled, which was his initial plan, because long castle would have been very dangerous, as I explained already. Knight c4. So now the knight is not only attacking the e3 bishop, but his plan is to go knight b2. So knight b2 is his plan because the knight will be very strongly placed there, and it's gaining some space and is controlling many squares. Also, this pawn is going to be under severe attack, because as I said, this pawn is a weak pawn, and it's like a backward pawn when you don't have a neighbors who is protecting. Like the knight e2 was the knight on e2 was indeed defending this pawn, but now since the knight is on d4, it's very hard to defend this, because now at some point the rook will jump to c8 and try to create some attack on this. So some putting pressure on. So Mukesh obviously defended bishop. He played bishop to f2, and now bishop to d7. As I said, his plan is to go rook c8 and trying to defend this, trying to attack this pawn. So let's say after knight takes, knight takes. I mean, if you take with the pawn, it's you are then losing this b4 pawn. So you gotta maintain the tension. So after knight takes, let's say bishop takes. It's still not easy. So queen e2 was played, which is, I'm not sure why, because I guess at this point you could play bishop e1. Bishop e1 seems like a logical move to play, because now you are trying to defend this c3 pawn, and then at some point you can play bishop d2 and trying to maneuver it at a better square. But okay, queen e2, and now knight takes, and now knight b2. Ding is initiating his plan, and now rook c8 is coming, and now this pawn is a very much target. It's a very weak pawn, very vulnerable pawn. Now at this point you would say, okay man, I mean, you could play either bishop e2, you could even play queen d2, but queen d2 comes with the tempo with knight c4. But yeah, also you might think like, okay, I can bring my rook f2 c1, or maybe the rook a2 c1, but rook a2 c1 is not a good move, because now you are block. You are going away from this. You are not defending anymore this pawn, and this pawn is also might be a weakness because after queen c4, I mean there are a lot of things that can happen, you know. And also this knight is doing a pretty good job by by creating a blockage between the queen and the pawn. Queen e3 has been played, defending the c3 pawn, rook c8, and now here Gukesh made an inaccurate move. What he had to do was to go bishop e1 to defend the pawn, and because after rook a c1, now queen c4 is coming. Now this pawn got no defense, and Ning indeed find the best move, queen c4, and now f5. Mukesh is like, okay, you want this pawn, it's fine. I'm going for f5, f4, f6 ideas, or even he's going for f takes c6. There are a lot of things he's planning. So, but Ding found a very well-timed move, queen d3. Um, he want to trade off the queens and want to go to the end game because the end game is quite good for black as indeed. But Dukesh is like, no, I don't want to trade queens. I want to keep the queens alive because I want to go for the win. But now bishop g5. Dukesh here missed a great move, bishop g5, because now it's taking a tempo on the rook. And let's say after rook c2, which was indeed played here, white is slightly worse because now rook c4 is coming. Rook c4, you're going to get a tempo on the knight, and yeah, because the knight is defending this rook, and Ding indeed found the rook c4 move, and now Gukesh played h4, attacking back the g5 bishop, bishop f4, and now queen to b1, defending the rook. But now Ding finally took the c3 pawn, rook takes, queen takes, and now takes, and now here at this point, by the way, guys, bishop takes would have been great because pawn takes, I would say, is a not a good move because why would you allow, like this side, this complete, because look, now the rook file is about to get open, wide open, and now this, once this bishop moves away somewhere, and now this is going to be vulnerable. So I mean, it's going to be strong for white, obviously. Now knight e2, knight takes bishop, queen takes, and now queen c2 was played. Now here is the losing mistake because here white had to play bishop c5 to stop black from short castling, and now there is some lot of pressure. You might be thinking, okay, bishop c5 stopping the castling, but what is black? Now, I mean, black can take the take the pawn, but bro, I can simply capture the pawn. I will capture this pawn, and now you cannot capture back with the rook. So, for instance, what I'm trying to show is, let's say after bishop c5, if black captures this pawn, I get queen takes h5, h7. If you take, checkmate. So, but Gukesh, and this was the last chance Gukesh could have tried to go for some counter plays, but here he played queen c2, and suddenly now, okay, wait a minute. Suddenly now it's black who is in control of it. How can I change the color? And now black played queen c4, which was indeed the best move in the position because queen c4 is is trying to trade off the queens, and yeah, now it's game over for Gukesh. Now queen d2, obviously Gukesh is not going to trade off the queens, but now he allows black to short castle, and now his king, now black's king is absolutely safe. Now even if the bishop c5, I mean even if bishop c5 still could have been played, but after rook takes, bishop takes, and it's still not easy, Bishop d4 was played indeed, instead, and now knight d3. So blocking the blocking the queen to defend this bishop. Queen goes to e3, and now after rook takes, bishop takes, Ding here finds the winning move, e5, and now after bishop takes e5, queen takes g4 check, bishop g2, and now it's completely game over. The bishop is coming to e4. This bishop, this king's, this white's king is completely doomed here. Bishop goes to g3 trying to defend, but now bishop e4, king h2, and now h6, so defending back rank, I believe. Not, I guess, yeah, defending the back rank because now white is threatening to take the bishop, I believe. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's like a waiting move, I believe, from Ding. Bishop h3, and now queen d1 threatening checkmate. Gukesh obviously won't miss, and now he plays bishop d6, queen c2 check, and king g3. After queen takes a2, now this pawn is about to get promoted. Now this is completely gone for black, gone for white. Bishop e6, final trick for white, because if let's say, I guess if king h8, there is some tricks, I believe. Um, I guess what is the trick? I'm unable to remember. What was the trick here? If let's say black plays this. Okay, no, okay, no, not that. I mean, let's say if he plays this. Yeah, there is a trick, I guess. No, not this. What's the trick? Queen takes e4. Yeah, queen takes e4 check is the trick. Yeah, because now if you take check, oh no, not this check, I believe. You take the queen, and now suddenly so back to equal. So one mistake, but now Padding is a world champion for a reason. He plays king h8, and here Gukesh resigned the game. So game one, hard luck for Gukesh, but yeah, it's a tough loss. And what a comeback for Ding Rin, who was having a worst form in his entire, in this last from the past few months. Now coming to game two, this is a must-win game for Gukesh. Um, Change the flip to 4, because since as a Gukesh fan, I would always see on Gokesh's perspective. Now game 2 wasn't so much interesting because e4, e5, normally Gukesh played e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and but here it's a surprise opening, by the way, by Ding. Ding normally never plays e4, e5. Just quite glance. Ding never really plays e4. But in this, he's like, okay, I'm going to play some novelty. He normally plays d4. He's a King's Indian guy. D4, d5, like that, like, or maybe e4, like d4 knight, like knight c3, yeah, e5, like that ideas he usually play. But yeah, bishop c4. It's Italian now. It's converted into quick piano. Knight f6, normal stuff, and so far so good. Both sides playing the theory. Bishop to e3, bishop to e6. It's like a mirror opening. So but yeah, a5, and now takes, black shot castles, bishop takes, pawn takes, and now b3, and yeah, normally so far so good. Queen takes, rook takes, and now rook d8, trying to trade off everything and try to go, for some play. Now knight d4, is a very good move. And by the way, for those who are thinking, oh wow, knight takes e5, but knight takes e5, I guess for knight takes e5, yeah, knight takes e5, then you have rook e8, and you are winning back the e4 pawn. So yeah, so knight goes back to e1, rook goes to d6. Now the idea is to double up on the d5, king f1, g6. He's playing waiting moves. He's trying to understand Ding's plan, but now f3, king g7, king f2. Look at Ding's time, both the time. By the way, in the game one, by the way, Mukesh was very low on time, because and his time management was kind of poor. Even though he was positionally lost, but yeah, also he was under immense time pressure. But in this game, I mean, not so much. Okay, let me change. I didn't. Why didn't I? I like to do analysis without any engine or power, because I'm giving my honest thoughts. So yeah, and h5, and here both sides here, and here Ding plays knight e2, which is kind of, I don't know I don't know why he played that. Maybe his idea was, I mean, here I guess you could have just gone with h4 idea, just go h4, and yeah, the position he could go for some new tricks, but he played knight e2, and here Gukesh played knight c6, so he doesn't want to trade off his this knight, and now here Ding plays knight c3. He's like, I'm happy with the draw. Gukesh is like, okay, knight e4, knight e2, and here Gukesh is like, okay, well, I will settle for a draw if Ding is also like, Ding is playing instantly, and finally after 94 they repeated 3 times, and it's a draw. The second game resulted in a draw, and Ding Liren was in the lead still 1.5, 0.5, and now Gukesh in the third game, which happened yesterday, had to play with the white pieces, and this was a must-winning game for Gukesh, because look, when you win one game, it will boost your confidence. The nerves which Gukesh is having now, if he wins one game, the nerves will be gone and he will be very under control. So in this game, Gukesh starts off with a surprise, starts off with d4. and and Ding Liren plays. Okay, but let me again switch up the analysis board and here Ding Liren tried with knight f6, knight f3, and now c4, queen's gambit, and queen's gambit declined by playing e6. And here Gukesh played, which is more common today's era, where Gukesh, Arjun, even Magnus himself plays, which is c takes d5. He took the pawn. Normally, now you will say, okay, well, you can play knight c3. You can even play e3 at some point, and yeah, knight c3, e3 are the most common moves you would play. You can even try to play bishop g5, and yeah, so on. But e takes d5 was a surprising move. And after e takes d5, knight c3, normal. Now Gokesh is playing some normal moves. Now queen c2, g6. The idea is to go with bishop f5, and also in the future bishop g7 ideas. So here Gukesh played h3. I guess his idea was to stop bishop g4, but after bishop f5, now he plays queen b3, targeting this pawn. And after queen b6, here Gukesh went with g4. He's like attacking the bishop, and now here, not here. I guess now Ding is like, okay, I will just trade off the queen. Queen's off the board. I can handle Gukesh in the end game. But here now, Ding plays bishop c2. Now I get his point. He wants to target this pawn, and I mean this pawn is very vulnerable, but it can be defended by 92. And also, by the way, if you look closely at the position, this bishop is kind of trapped. I mean, okay, you have 94, some ideas like that, but yeah, at some point e4 will about to come. Bishop f4. Mukesh is just playing normal developing moves. h5. Look at Ding's time. He's having 30 minutes, and look at Gukesh's time. He's still in his prep. H5 now. Here, Gukesh played rook g1, takes, and look at what Ding's move. Look at Ding's move. Not here. I mean, but here look at Ding's clock. He took like 30 minutes, like half an hour, on knight d7, knight cd, knight bd7. I mean, when I was watching this, I was like, why did it took so much time? I mean, that's the only natural looking move. Why would he take so much time on that move? I mean, I get it. There are a lot of variations. Maybe he was calculating my c5 at some point. Maybe he was calculating bishop g7. He was even calculating. I don't know. There was a lot of lines he was calculating maybe. But yeah. And here Mukesh played knight e2, so defending this pawn. And here black played rook g5, which is an absolute amazing move by Ting, because now you are threatening g5. You are threatening g5 to attack the bishop. But here Gukesh made a human error. I mean, logically I can understand what he's trying to do. He stops g5. He stops black from playing g5. But here he created a weakness. He created a strong square for black's knight, which Ting plays, and now knight h5 was played. And now the bishop is under attack. Bishop goes back to h2, and now rook h8. And now the Ding is like, okay, I'm going to try an attack, indirect attack on the bishop on h2, f3, and now knight g7 attacking the bishop, and now bishop goes to g3. So far normal. And this, you feel like, oh, rook h5. Wow, rook h5 is, yeah, I mean, attacking this pawn. This pawn is a weak pawn, vulnerable pawn. But this move is the losing mistake for Ding. The entire position, this is the move which costed him the entire game. Now watch what happens. e4. Gukesh found the winning move. e4. Now this bishop is completely trapped. Now you may wonder, okay, well, black can play knight e6, trying to go with knight d4, defending the pawn. But okay, after knight e6, I play rook c1, knight takes d4, and now I will play bishop f2. Now you may wonder bishop g7. Uh, but yeah, bishop g7. But yeah, still, I mean, I can just take, and I can take, but I can have rook g2. There are a lot of things you can play, but here is thing. Here is what Gukesh and Ding were coming. And look at Gukesh, look at Ding's time. Here, he took 15 minutes, I guess, and here he took another 4 minutes, e4, and now he took another 4 minutes, like 23 minutes. Ding is down. And remember, guys, in this format, before 40 moves, there's a 120-minute game and no increment. So after 40 moves, you get 30 minutes plus 30 seconds. So after 40 moves, you will get 30 minutes bonus with 30 seconds increment. So far there is no increment. I think has to make now 21 moves in like 20 minutes. Like this is going to be, and this position is very tricky for him. And already it's very down for Ding. Knight to e6. So the same idea, rook c1, knight takes, and now bishop f2. Kukesh has calculated everything, because of which he's not taking much time. He's just you know he's just double checking whether his calculation is right or wrong. So yeah, bishop g7 and now knight to e2. This is a very tricky move. This was a very hard move to find, because knight e2, and this bishop is still trapped. Now you want to defend. Now you want to trade off this knight. Now let's say after knight takes, if knight takes the, now there is this thing. If knight takes, you get knight. If knight takes e2, you get bishop takes, attacking the rook and bishop. You are going to lose 3 points of material. So knight e2 was played, and yeah, at this point Ding is completely lost. He had to give up the bishop, and knight takes, queen takes. By the way, guys, if rook takes, then rook takes would have been also very bad. So yeah, king takes was the best move. Knight d5, trying. Ding is still trying some tricks on f3. He's trying with like he has this knight, tricky knight. But Kukesh plays knight d4, defending the f3 square. Rook d8, and now he calmly plays king d2, sliding away from the pin. And this is just, yeah, Ding doesn't have any plans at this point. Rook h2, trying to pin the bishop. Now bishop g2. So now here at this one, I was like, okay, rook g2 could have been also played. I mean, but okay, I mean, Gukesh is a grandmaster. I know. So yeah, a6, b3, rook d7, rook c1. He's just making some waiting moves. He's just asking Ding like, what is your plan? Like, okay, I'm just going to shuffle around. I'm just going to slowly protect my pieces, and we have no plans. Ding, look at Ding. Like he takes 5 minutes to just shuffle his king backwards on e8. I mean, why? At this level, you should be playing like, okay, if you want to play like, you could play. You have to play fast. You are at this level. But yeah, now bishop g3 is already like, yeah, double attack on the rook and the knight. Knight f3, defending the pawn. Knight takes, king takes. By the way, very good move. King takes, and look at a ding. And now bishop d4, attacking the rook. Rook simply rook h1. Rook takes pawn, and now bishop to h3, and after f5, bishop f4. Here Ding lost on time, and also this is a losing move. You ask, wait, why? Why is it a losing move? Because a bishop takes f5. If rook takes, I take rook with a check. After king takes, rook takes h1, and I'm winning. And with that, Kukesh not only put he in this entire game, he not only put pressure, he put Ding under time pressure, but his calculations were monster level. It was like engine level calculation. He looked further in the position. His opening prep was fabulous. He already outplayed Ding in the opening itself. It's just a matter of like uh, it's a matter of conversion, delegation, and everything. So yeah, what a game by Gukesh, and with that he leveled up the score. It was a must-win game for Gukesh, and with that he leveled up the score with 1.5, 1.5. I mean, this is his absolute genius. Absolute. This young guy has something, you know. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm really excited for tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's, tomorrow's. Wait a minute. Let me do this. Why was this? Okay, cool. So I'm really looking forward for tomorrow's game, and yeah, hopefully Ding will. Sorry, hopefully Gukesh might hold back for with the draw. Like he might go for the draw in the with the black pieces. But yeah, let's see. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Today's a rest day, and yeah, get out of here.